Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Mixed Mowers and Mower Man. Hope you're all doing well. In today's video I'm going to be working on a little tiny Mountfield lawnmower which I got in last year from a fella up in the New Forest. It all ran last year, this year it's mucking about. It's got a little tiny E-series engine on top and that's probably the reason why it's mucking about. But if your lawnmower is doing the same thing where it starts and then stops, starts and then stops all on its own, then this video could be the one for you. If it's your first time watching Mixed Mowers and Mower Man, hit your subscribe button and whack the old bell. Set notifications to all, that way you'll be told next time I upload another video. So without further ado, let's get down and dirty. Let's get this little tiny Mountfield lawnmower to run and stay running. Okay, back off we go. Next victim, please, Mick. Next victim's over here, amongst all the other mowers. Yes, I know. I'm getting through them. Here it is. Nice little Mountfield, old style Mountfield, but it's got the new E-series engine put on it. As I say, this was given to me by a fella up in the New Forest who's moving to London. He had a job lot of machines and they wanted to get rid of them and he gave them all to me, so free of charge. Don't believe it had the original engine on it. I think I put another engine on it last year. But it's been stored for about 3 or 4 months and it all ran fine last season, right at the end of the season, but since then it's been put away. Had no fuel in it, but now put fuel in, give it a good prime, and now this is what it's doing. So if your lawnmower is starting, but then stops, and every time you prime it, it runs again, just try running around the side with it starting and try and keep it priming. But if that doesn't work, continue watching this video. Okay, another victim on the old bench. So if your lawnmower, it looks like this, has got an engine on it like this, and it starts, but then stops, starts and then stops, then this could be the video for you, if I can get it to run. This machine's been stored all winter. It had normal E95 fuel put in it, but I did drain the fuel out, but it is a typical E-series engine. Now, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of E-series, okay? But when they're running, they start really well and they're easy to start. That's why lots of people like them. But I'm just not a fan because of the carburetors on them. But there you go, that's just my own preference. Just spray a bit of WD-40 just to give the old deck a bit of a clean off because I want to get a good clean and shine after I've done with it. That way it should sell a little bit better later on in the year. So your machine is currently firing, but not actually running. So it's all serviced up last year. New air filter, a lot, had it all in there. So that's good. Now the main reason for this is because your carburetor's either blocked, one of the main jets is blocked or something along that line. That's the main reason why this lawnmower is actually playing up, okay? To do this, you can do this from home. You don't need to send it into a workshop to be done if you don't want to. But if you don't want the hassle, then send it on in. You want a 7 and an 8mm socket, ideally. The 8mm go one on the side here and then one up the top here, I think. Yeah, and they are both narrow threads, fine threads, okay, which means they go into metal. You then want to change over to a 7mm and there's 2 more screws to remove and these will have coarse threads on them because they go into plastic, okay, one down the bottom. So they have slightly coarser threads on those. So put them to one side, don't lose them because you're needing them a bit later on today. Then all you've got to do is then just remove your air filter. As you take your air filter box, as you take it off, there'll be a little tiny pipe that fits on the back just here. So a little tiny pipe, yeah. That's got to go back onto there later on when we put it back together. If you don't put it back on, it won't run right, okay? It's as simple as that. So don't forget that. Here's your primer. That should prime air through, and I believe it is. Because when you hold that your thumb over here and prime it, it won't prime. Release your thumb, it does. So that does work. So that tells me we've got an issue with the carburetor itself, okay? And I dare say it's just blocked. Now, all you've got to do here is to remove the fuel lines. Little tiny fuel clamps, pair of big pliers will do it. Now, they're a little bit notorious for getting off because you've got such a small bit of fuel line on here, but they are particularly thick, and they don't bend very well. I'm just going to get myself a little tiny funnel ready, because I want to try and capture as much of this fuel as I possibly can, but you may get a bit of a leak, okay? Now, I do have specialist tools within my arsenal to stop this sort of stuff from happening live on camera, but it don't always work. So I'm going to get a set of fuel clamps and clamp that off just above there. Now, as I say, they're very, very thick, so it may not do the job. I'm going to get a pair of pliers now, possibly a set of fuel hose pliers, what I use, but you can use just normal long nose pliers. And I'll get up in there, and up against the carburettor is the fuel line you want to remove. And just give it a bit of a twist, drop it back a bit, and just manipulate it off. It will come. It's just, as I say, it's just not a lot of slack. I'm going to get a funnel and a fuel line, jug. I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to remove my clamps in a minute once I get all set up here, so I don't spill everything. And then literally, I'm going to take my clamps off, like so, and that will then allow your fuel to run. Now that tells me we're actually getting fuel down to the carby. That we know. There's not a lot of fuel in here. I only put a little tiny smidge in there. Take the cap off, that'll run a bit better. So we are actually getting fuel down, that we know. So let me get the fuel out of the machine and I'll come back to you in 2 ticks. Now the fuel has been removed, bit of a quick little wipe up. Just try and remove some of the debris from underneath here. But all we've got to do is just remove this fuel tank, this carburettor off of the actual lawnmower itself. Quite simple to do. The only problem you have is you've got a little tiny throttle clip up the top there to do. So it's a sort of a double pinch movement, if you like. Just need to make sure that when you pull this carburettor out, that you disconnect it off the throttle clip up the top. So just grab hold of the carb, give it a bit of a wiggle, pull the carby out, and then you want to rotate the carb over to you guys and out like that. It sits on a little tiny Z bend just on the top of the throttle there, and there's your carby. So that's quite simple. Let me just get sorted out, put the carb on the bench on its own, and then we'll give this little carburettor a good little clean. Right, got you down on the bench, got my little carburettor. Easy peasy. Now the first thing I'm going to do, and this is just what I do, I haven't seen no one else do it, to be fair. It's not my thing, it's just why I do it. I get a little tiny knife or something along that line, and all I'm going to do is just literally where this bowl comes apart, I'll make a little tiny slit, just a mark, just so I know which way around it goes, across there, and across there, just like that. Just so I've got a reference. That's all it is, okay? I do that myself just so I make sure the bowl goes around the right way. Although it will go either way, but I like to put it back exactly how it came off. Okay, it's as simple as that. Get your impact, your socket, whatever it is you're using, and with a 7mm, you can just literally now undo the 2 screws that retain the bowl on. So nice and simple. And they're the longer ones. Put them to one side. And then I'll get myself a little tiny flat-headed screwdriver. And all I'm then going to do is find a little hole to get in. That'll do us. And just literally just creep that little carburettor up in the air. Take all that out. Now what I'm looking for here is any water to be sat on top. There's a little bit of water in here, not a great deal, okay? I'm then going to get a pair of long nose pliers, which should be in my box here. There we are. Oh boy, we've got tools in the box. Then I'm going to pull out this little tiny pin. It just pops up. Okay, boom. Anyone can do that. There you go. Pull the float up, and then you'll also find there a little needle as well. Okay, that little needle just there. I'm going to keep hold of that. And then you've got a little tiny cartridge just here. Now this cartridge, just pay attention to where it goes. It points to the red thing. Yeah, that's where it goes round. It don't go around the other way. Just get hold of that with a pair of long nose pliers and just lift that up. Now you might have to get a screwdriver behind it just to lift it. You don't want to damage this. There it goes. Out that comes. Now you can just buy replacement parts for that. I haven't got a link for it, but you can just buy replacement parts, and I think that's what I did with this kiddie. Got a spider in there as well. Go away, Mr. Spider, don't need you. This little tiny piece here, that can then be twisted, rocked, and manipulated off. Just get a hold of it. Gently, 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 because it's all plastic. It will come, he says, as he struggles. Oh, it goes. That was on the tight too. There it goes. Right, that's off. That goes over one side, and that goes on. The straw goes on the tube, and the tower bit here goes on this wider part there. Okay. Right. So now that's all taken apart. That's pretty much all you have to do to take these little carbies apart. There's nothing else in there that is there to concern you, okay? The next thing I want to do is choose your weapon of choice. Now, one thing I would say is I don't use carburetor cleaner full stop a lot anyway, okay? Never have done. I use a couple of products, WD-40, GT85, or Pocket Barocket. But I'm going to be using GT85 today. And all you want to do, every single hole in this carburetor, every little jet you see, you want to be cleaning. Go straight into there, go back through. There's one in there. You'll come through the main feed and back through. Nothing in there. There's one in there. So we're just cleaning. We're cleaning every single port there is. If there's a hole, put it in there. See what happens. Don't be worried. There's a Welch plug hole. So every single hole there is in this carby, just literally put it in. It might just be a screw hole, but literally just put it in there and clean it out. When you find out where it comes from, put it back in the other way. It's as simple as that. So it ain't hard to do. Now I've got to say, I've only had about 75 to 80% success rate with these carburetors. As I say, I am not a fan. But that's only because now you can buy these cartridges to overcome that. See that on there? Look, that one goes right through that little jet just there. See, so we know we're getting good penetration throughout the entire carburetor itself. That's good. That's lush. So that's done. There's nothing in the bowl. Nothing in the bowl that'll even considered to worry about. But I'm just going to put that through, let it drain out. Now this little kiddie here. This is your emulsion tube stroke cartridge, and there's holes pretty much everywhere in here. You just put a straw in, blow them out, make sure all the holes are all running. Anywhere there's a hole, put it in. Little tiny jet just there, that one's doing. See that? That's running lovely. Now, the thing I don't get with these style of carbies is that everything seems to run on them. In fact, this one hasn't had the upgrade because they don't come with this brass jet anymore. So for me, every single thing in this carby so far is running. So why didn't it want to run? You can take a little jet out there, the ball bearing out, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to try and just run some stuff in, and it's coming out the bottom where it should do. Yeah. Right, that's clean. As far as I'm concerned, that's golden. Right. What I'm going to do now is get my air compressor. Now I've got an air compressor. Very lucky to have one. If you haven't got one, go down to Staples or wherever you can in the US, wherever it is, to an office style shop where they do cans of compressed air like this to clean your keyboards. That'll do fine. Don't go mad, is what I'm saying with the air. Okay, you'll blow ball bearings out. So just very, very gently start to run some air in. And all we're looking for is just to get rid of any trapped debris that are within this carburetor. At the same time, don't blow your bits everywhere. So darn good clean. There's a jet right in there. See, a little hidden jet right in there. See it? Right in there. There's a little jet in there. You can take that ball bearing out and clean behind it, but I'm not going to bother upsetting that. There's a little tiny jet hidden in there. Okay, but that's clean. Just going to make sure that it's doubly clean. I'm going to put that down in through here. Yeah, it's running. See, it's coming out of that emulsion tube. See, it's definitely running. Just want to blow that through without blowing that ball bearing out. Right, that's all clean. Remember what I said where this goes? That goes on the emulsion tube, that goes on the tower. Oh, wrong way around, make that way. Like that, push that down and push it all the way home. That goes all the way down. That feels about yummy. Here it goes, right, all the way home it goes. Another compress off. All the time I'm compressing, I'm cleaning all the time. Now that's the cleanest that's going to get. I don't think that's going to get any cleaner, okay? I'm going to now put that straight into its home. In fact, I might just compress this carb out just to confirm everything I've done is correct. So I'm just going to compress all the bits that I sprayed up earlier on. But not going mad with it, okay? I'm not going to go super mad where I'm blowing stuff out and breaking it, okay? Well, yeah, I missed that one. Right, that's all in. Remember what I said about that pointy bit just there? That pointy bit points to that. That goes in there just like that. Push it down, click. Done. That's easy as that, right? Now, just want to go through my my intake. So I'll go very gently in there. Don't go too mad because you'll blow the seat out. Just blowing it through, no problems. I'm now going to get my little tiny needle. Give it a wipe on a bit of clean material. Bit of a clean, and we're going to hook that up to my float. It'll only go one way. It goes in a little tiny hole just like that, right, and just hangs there. And then put it into the hole. Plop, lovely. Get your little pin. Put it through the float first. Lift it up. Put it through the float. Have it even Stevens, and then literally just push that down onto the two little tiny clips. So it goes click. There you go, like that. Now what I can do is, 'cause I'm quite lucky, I've got a very good friend of mine called Hank. He's great, right? Henry Maworski, his channel is called. Big Dog Lawn Repair. I can put this little tiny tube onto here, if it'll go, live on camera. It's quite a thick old tube, but I don't know if it's going to go, Hank. I'll try and get it on there if I can. Yeah, there you go. Now on here, I've got a little testing device. I can now test up to about 5 mil, 7 psi. I can now test to make sure that carburetor is not letting by. If I lift the float up, that gauge will drop. See, there you go. So give it about 5 to 7, about there. That's enough. I'll just sit and watch that just for 3 seconds. Make sure that's not dropping down anything. No, that carburetor is definitely not going to let by. It's not going to leak no fuel. That's holding. So I'm happy with that. Cheers, Hank, brother. So that's that. Happy with that. I can now get me my carby, my bowl, and I don't forget I put a mark on there, didn't I? Where'd that mark go? It's on it somewhere. It don't matter. It's not essential. I did put a mark on it somewhere. Where'd it go? There's a mark. There's one mark there. Find me another mark. It don't matter, as I say. It's not life or death. Can't find it. Here it is. And all I'm going to do then is just get my 2 marks. There it is. There. I'm just going to line those marks up where they need to be. Push that down. Push that down. A bit of a twist. That's it there. That's lovely. I'm going to get my 2 little tiny screws. Just going to wind them in. Gently. Don't go mad. Plastic. If you go mad, you're going to break it. That's in. Right. Quick little note to self. If that little tiny clip ain't on there, little tiny O-ring clip, if that ain't on there, it'll be on your engine. Retrieve that, put it in your carb. If it ain't there, it'll be sucking too much air in and it won't run right. Carburetor is now successfully cleaned, I hope. And we're going to put the lawnmower back on the top and we're going to refit it. Okay, I am back. Did you miss me? So, all we're now going to do is we're going to refit this little tiny carby. Now, don't forget what I say. You've got your little tiny throttle bit to go on that hole just there. See a little L? That goes on there. So there's a little tiny throttle linkage in here somewhere. It's hiding right at the back. There it is there. See it there? Little tiny little thing. I'm trying a bit closer. Little tiny thing. You've got to tip the carby up that way. Put it onto your linkage. Through the hole. Tip it back and it sits there lovely jubbly just like that, right? You've now got a little tiny slot just here. There's a little tiny white bit just here. That just fits in that little slot. Slides in and goes onto the intake tube and pushes all the way home. Like that. That's easy. We can do that, can't we? Easy peasy. We can do that. Next one we'll do is hook up your petrol. Not quite so easy. Get hold of it along those pliers. It's only a small bit of pipe. You want to tip it down and then lift the tube up and then it'll go on. Like so. Right. It's just a bit fiddly, people. That's all it is. Get a pair of normal pliers. Yellow handle ones is what the ones I'm actually after. And I can't see them. I had a mess somewhere. Here we are. Get your cable, your fuel hose clip, and that's just want to squeeze together, slide it all the way around, and onto the end of your fuel hose, and that's it. That's where that goes. So we're golden there. Next thing I want to do is bring in your air filter box cover. That's the one with the primer bulb, okay? That one there. Now remember what I say, it can only go one way, and that's that hole goes up the top. It don't go like that, okay? It goes like that, right? Now as you would put this on, this little tiny pipe just here, okay? The tiny pipe just there, see that wiggling? That bit's got to go on that bit. If you don't get it on, it won't run right. So put your finger in, slide it on. It only just sits in there, presses. Once you've got it, keep an eye on it, and then just put it into place. Also go down a touch. It'll only go till it lines up. Poke your eye behind here, have a little look. That's on there. That's lush, right? The next thing I want to do is get your two screws. Now I removed the fine threads first, and then I removed the coarse threads after. Now remember what I said to you. The fine threads will go on the metal, which is that one there and that one there. And then your coarse threads will go this one here and that one down there, okay? Make sure you get in the right order. The first one's to go in the coarse threads, one right down the bottom, 7mm. Do that up. And then your next one to go in would be your 7mm just in here. That's your coarse threads. All right, change your socket over. And then we're looking for a 8mm socket. Move the pliers out of the way. That's it. Pull my drawer out. 8mm socket, which is slightly bigger. And then you'll put your fine threads in. Fine thread goes in far side here. And then one literally right opposite over the far side, the other side. And they're the ones that go into the metal, okay? That's done. We're golden. Right, you can now quickly just make sure it's all doing what it should be doing. That's fine. We won't know until we get some petrol in there. Got my air box with my filter. That's fine. All you got to do is put the two tabs down the bottom, rock it up to the top. Whoop, rock it up to the top. Click until it goes click. That's it. Done. That's it. We can do that. This is easy. Lawnmower fix is easy. Anyone can do this. Well, that's if it runs. And there's no guarantee it will run, people. As I say, I've not had the most success with these machines. That's just hands up. That's just for truth. I'm not being deceitful. I'm not being anything other than the truth. You know, I haven't had the best results with these. You can just buy the cartridge for them, and that generally does fix them. But the cartridge is about £11. I haven't got one in stock because I've used all mine last year. I'm waiting to do a stock retake, but we'll go from there. So now I'm going to put some fuel in this engine. Put some fuel in. Test for leaks. Make sure nothing leaks. So leave it just to stand for 2 or 3 minutes, and I shall meet you outside. And we'll see if we haven't now fixed this little lawnmower, which was starting, but then cutting out. Right, back out we come. Got the mower out. It's been sat up for a little while. No fuel leaks. I haven't tried to start it. None of that preempting stuff. Try and make it look like a hero, because I don't think it's going to start. I never am confident with these machines. Never. And you saw me. I cleaned that. You can't get much cleaner than that. But they are what they are. Right, so last time it started, but then it decided just to stop. So plenty of prime. Let's see now what it do. There's got a bit of a hump to it. It may settle down in a minute. Baby. So there you go. It worked. Start, stops, a bit of a hunt. They do that. They do hunt and search a little tiny bit just to get sorted out and running a bit warmed up. It's not been running since last year, so it's not been running for about five months. So it's the first time it's actually ran all season. If that doesn't work, okay, go onto the internet, look up Briggs and Stratton E-Series style carburetor cartridge. Look up the right one for your machine. I don't have the link for you. If you look up, they're about £9, £10. And you can do exactly the same procedure, just replace a cartridge. That should get you going as well. So hopefully that little video will help. So there you have it. Nice little mount fill with the, I think it's a 450E style Briggs and Stratton overhead valve engine on one with a little plastic carburetor. I'm not a fan of them. but it runs pretty well. It doesn't run absolutely A1. I have not yet come across one brand new that does that. They all have a little tiny miss or surge to them somewhere along the line. They're just mass produced and cheaply made. I'm sorry to say, Briggs and Stratton, that's what it is. But there you go, a quick little fix. Takes about half an hour of your time. If you follow my video step by step, your lawnmower could also be up and running and cutting grass before you know it, and you would be as happy as Larry. If you like that sort of video, Mixed Mowers and Mower Man, hit your subscribe button or whack the old bell, set your notifications to all. That way you'll be told next time I upload another video. I look forward to the next episode of Mixed Mowers very, very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, much more importantly, take her easy.